Hi guys, it's Catherine. Today I'm going to be talking about the worst books that I read in 2017. I only have 4 books to talk about, which is surprising because I felt like I was hating books the whole year, but I guess not, so yeah. Only 2 of these books are books that I finished and 2 of them are DNF because I just couldn't handle it. I don't rate books that I DNF because it's just not fair, but I feel like these books I knew that they were gonna be bad. Like one of the books that I DNF'd, I like skimmed through the rest of the book. I only had like a couple chapters left, but I just couldn't do it. So I'm gonna talk about books that I DNF'd anyways, and yeah. I can't believe there's only 4 books, so let's just get started. The first one that I probably hated the most because it was just so bad and it was a waste of my time, but I did a rant review for it, and it is The 100th Queen by Emily R. King. You can watch my rant review over yonder if you would like to. I even went and watched it through again because I was like, I totally forgot, I blocked it from my memory. In this book we follow a girl named Clinda who is chosen to become the 100th queen of the reigning ruler, but because this will be his 100th wife, he cannot have any more after that, so all the rest of the courtesans are given a chance to challenge his 100th wife to take her place instead. Yeah, so in this book there's just this really intense insta love that's just no bueno. Oh my god, I can't even. Let's not bring it up again. I wish. What a hard video to make, okay? She falls in love with her guard. I mean, like, it's pretty obvious. I'm not spoiling anything, don't worry. A lot of bad plot decisions happen. I don't really know, man. It was not good at all. So I gave it a 1 star. And hearing about this again and having been educated since reading that book, I realized that this is kind of like a gross stereotype on the Middle Eastern culture with like the ruler having many wives and many courtesans. And while it's like your choice to like base your story off of whatever, but like this shows that the ruler with many wives is a tyrant and bad. And while the character in the book is bad, like why did I have to like, you know, I'm just trying to pull at some like things here. I'm just trying to say that in this culture, just because there's 100 wives doesn't mean that he's inherently bad. So yeah, that's the route that this book took. So I don't know, man. But yeah. Oh, and then there was magic in this, and then oh yeah, the main character was an idiot. Yeah, it was bad. I'd rather not remember it. So moving on. The next book that I really didn't like, and this is probably a book that a lot of people like, but it is Winter Song by S.J. Jones. When I first read this, I was super freaking hyped for this book, all right? And then after I finished reading it, I was really confused. Like, I didn't know what I felt about it. Like, I felt like I couldn't pull my thoughts together. I felt like Winter Song was a little bit of like a ripoff, like took a lot of elements from Stolen Songbird by Danielle Judson, which is one of my favorite books. Like, I had read Stolen Songbird and then I read Winter Song, which Stolen Songbird was published far before Winter Song. So I was like, geez, a lot of these elements feel like that. But I was like, no, whatever. Like, people have the same kind of ideas and follows the same thing. But then at some point I read somebody's review of Winter Song and I was just like, what? Did we read the same book? I'm not sure, you know? I just thought the romance in the book was so like uncomfortable and cringy, and she like attacks him at some point and he just like does such bad things to her and like plays her in such weird ways, and I'm just like, that's not romantic. And then I also felt like very confusing, very like weird, not in a good way weird. The writing style, I guess, was trying to be like surreal and weird and like you don't really know what's going on. But I was like, I don't, you know, it didn't translate well, basically. It was just weird. By the end of the book, when you probably should have been crying, I definitely wasn't, and I'm definitely an emotional person. So anyways, moving on to the books that I DNF'd. The first one that I'm going to talk about is Graceling, which I read a while back. I borrowed it from my library because it seemed like something that just was like me, you know? It seemed like nice fantasy, magic, yeah, stuff, okay? But then when I got it, I just really did not like the main character. She literally got on my nerves. Oh my god. There are so many things about it that I didn't like. This video is so draining. I just have to hate on a lot of things. I don't know, bottom line is I didn't like the main character. She had like stupid ideas in her head, and then she did weird things like massage some guy's feet. Like, what the hell? Like, that's my most like, what about this book? But then like halfway through the book, it kind of got a bit better, not that much, but you know, a little bit. But then the reason I stopped reading it was because I was so bored, all right? Because like they were like on a journey and the book was detailing like every hour of their journey. And so I just flipped through to see when that journey would end, and I was like, Jesus Christ, the book is almost done by the time the journey ends. And I'm like, God, like I don't want to read all this. So I was like, I'll get to it later. But then I returned to my library and now I guess I'll never finish it. So yeah, I didn't like it. I think it had a lot of potential, especially the storyline with like having a Grace and all of that. And like also something about it is that they say like, oh, a grace is rare. I didn't even give a description of Winter Song nor this book, but what, sorry. But like the way that they keep saying it like throughout, like in the description and in the book, is that a grace is rare. But then she like mentions people with graces and I'm like, it seems pretty common, you know, like no matter the grace, like how powerful or how weak, you know? So I don't get that part. Why are they trying to tell me that graces are rare when you just talk about a lot of people that have graces? So anyways, moving on. The last book that I want to talk about is Garden of Thorns by Amber Mitchell. Like I think I got a little less than halfway through it and I was like, I can't do this, so I put it down. Like I paid for this freaking ebook, okay? And ebooks are expensive now. I swear they weren't that expensive when I first started reading books. I don't know. The description of this book sounded really good. I was like, oh yay, this sounds fun, but it wasn't, all right? It was annoying as hell. Like the main character was an idiot, okay? Or is. And then things that got the plot moving were just like, what? Like I didn't understand. Like they were just not making sense. I understood that these weren't making sense, okay? Basically in this book we follow this main character who is part of this like moving circus basically, but it's called The Garden, and she's kind of like a slave in it, but then she escapes from it by taking a hostage who happens to be the prince, and the prince is like, well, hold up, because he's the leader of the rebellion as well. He's like, wait, why are you taking me hostage? I'm gonna take you hostage so that you can tell me who told you to take me hostage, even though she just did it on her, and she says like, no, nobody told me. And so he's like, oh, I have to take you back to my secret place. And that makes no sense. Like, I can't, okay? And then she becomes like part of their squad and like does things. And I don't know, that's where I stopped reading, but yeah, it was very weird. And the reasoning and everything was just no. Yeah, so yay. What a negative video. Now my torso is all warm because I was hugging my pillow that my mom got me. Thanks, Mom. I love it. Look how cute it is. But yes, those were my worst reads of 2017. Yeah, here's to another year. Oh yeah, and I totally forgot something about Winter Song. Another really bad thing about Winter Song was that the main character was an idiot because she kept being like, I'm so plain, I'm so plain. I'm tall and thin and plain and ugly. Yeah, it made me realize I really hate that trope. And plus, it was so repetitive with that, you know? So I just can't even, all right? Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to check out my social media, which I always link down below. But yes, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.
I was yours on Sunday while we watched the children play. We fell deep in love again, like we always do.